Hello and welcome to Timeless Tales with the Monterey Public Library. My name is Ellie and I'm going to be telling you a story today. At the Monterey Public Library, we understand the power of stories to connect each other. And we hope that this story helps you feel connected to your community and your world. Today's story is from Russia. It's a famous one. It's the enormous turnip. So sit back and enjoy. Once there was a farmer who grew turnips. Every year he planted many, many little tiny turnip seeds all in a row, and this year was no different. He planted rows and rows and rows of turnip seeds, and he knew that if he watered them, and he pulled the weeds and he cared for them, they would grow, first little green sprouts, turning into big glorious leaves, and then finally the turnips ready for harvest. And he would take them all to the market. This year started out the same way as usual, with the tiny sprouts beginning to grow, but one turnip out of all the turnips grew much faster than he expected, much faster than any of the other turnips. So while the other ones were just tiny green shoots, it was already branching out into leaves. And when their shoots started turning into leaves, this one turnip's leaves were broad and green and glorious, and the turnip itself, peeking out of the earth, was big and broad. And he knew that this turnip would be a very large turnip. So he watched it grow. He watched it grow and grow and grow until it was huge. The leaves were taller than he was, and he thought, now it is time to harvest this turnip. So the farmer put on his sturdy boots, and he put on his strong gloves, and he marched out to the field, and he put two hands around the turnip, right where the leaves started to come out of the turnip itself, and he got a strong stance, and he pulled. And he pulled. And he pulled, but that turnip wouldn't budge. It was stuck fast. He knew he needed some help, so he called to his wife, who was in another part of the farm working, and he said, Wife, please come help me pull my turnip. And so she sat down what she was doing, and she came to him, and she said, all right, let me help you. So she took hold of him right around the belt, and he took hold of the turnip, and together they pulled, and they pulled, and they pulled, but that turnip was still stuck fast. It would not budge a bit. So they thought about it. And the farmer and the farmer's wife called to their daughter. They said, Daughter, come to us, come help us pull the turnip. And so she came running, for she was playing, and she grabbed onto her mama's apron, and the mama grabbed onto the papa's belt, and the farmer grabbed onto the turnip, and all three of them pulled, and pulled, and pulled, and did that turnip budge? No, it was stuck fast. So the daughter looked around, and she saw her little dog playing in the dirt, and she said, Doggy, come, help us pull the turnip. And so the doggy said, woof, woof, and he got his little doggy teeth, and he grabbed onto the back of her dress, and she grabbed onto her mama's apron, and the mama grabbed onto the papa's belt, and the papa grabbed onto the turnip, and they pulled, and they pulled, and they pulled, but it was stuck fast. It would not budge. So the dog looked around, and he said, I see a kitten. He said, Kitten, come help. And the kitten said, Meow, I will help you pull the turnip. And the kitty went, meow, 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 up to the puppy. And she grabbed onto the doggy, and the doggy grabbed onto the little girl, and the little girl grabbed onto the mama, and the mama grabbed onto the papa, and the papa grabbed onto the turnip, and together they pulled, and they pulled, and they pulled, but still no luck. That turnip would not move. So happened to be walking past a little tiny mousey, just a little mouse, came walking past, and he saw how hard they were trying to pull that turnip out of the ground, and he thought, I could help. So he walked up to them and he said, Let me help. I will help you pull out your turnip. And they all said, What, you're so small. What could you do? You're no help at all. And the mousey said, Let me try. I'm strong. And so they said, All right, we'll try again. So the mouse grabbed hold of the cat. The cat grabbed hold of the dog grabbed hold of the little girl grabbed hold of the mama grabbed hold of the papa, And the papa grabbed that turnip and they all pulled. And they pulled. And they pulled. And whoomp! Out of the earth came that enormous turnip. And it fell splat right on the papa. And the papa fell on the mama, and the mama fell on the little girl, and the little girl fell on the dog, and the little dog fell on the cat, and the mouse managed to squeak out of the way just in time. So they all scrambled up, got off of each other, and took a look at this great big turnip, and they saw that it was, in fact, the biggest turnip any of them had ever seen. It was huge. They were very pleased. They went and they got a wheelbarrow, and they put it into a wheelbarrow, and they wheeled it back to the house. And all of them had a big, delicious turnip supper. Even the little mouse. And as the little mouse was all snuggled into his mousy bed, his round tummy all full of delicious turnip, the mousey thought to himself, "My goodness, I had no idea I was so strong." So that's the story of the enormous turnip. At least that's my way of telling it. It's an old story, and there are a lot of different ways of telling it. So I encourage you to look for that story in other places. Lots of different versions out there, and you could even try telling it yourself. You could put your own family's names or your own pets into it. It's a great one to act out. You get different people in your family to act out the story. If you want to put on a play, it's a fun one with puppets. It'd be a fun thing to draw. There's a lot of things you can do starting from a story like that. And if you're looking for more stories, we'll be back next week. We're going to try and post these every Tuesday. You can find them at the Monterey Public Library website. That's monterey.org/library, or on the Monterey Public Library's Facebook page. And you can also, if you can't wait that long to get another story, I recommend there's a podcast called Circle Round. It's a free podcast, and it's a lot of really wonderful stories from all around the world. So that's a start for now. Thank you for tuning in, and remember that stories connect us, stories make us remember how similar we all are all around the world. We'll tell happy stories, we'll tell sad stories, we'll tell good stories. I'll see you next time.